Hello guys. I just changed my gadget, so hopefully it will not crash again. Um, because I don't know what's wrong. It does shouldn't be happening, but oh well. Let's hope that it stays fine. Let me bring him back. Ta- Sorry guys, am I shaking too much? I am just reconnecting with him. I'm sorry for that. It shouldn't happen. I don't know what's wrong. Let's hope that this time.
Hey there, my wish.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So I just
No
swapped
worries.
from my iPad to my phone. Hopefully, it will not crash again.
Gotcha, gotcha. No worries.
Yes, so please continue with the story.
Yeah. No, so I was just sharing with you that like I experienced trauma as a child. I was abused at the age from the age of 4 to the age of 14. I went through a very difficult time. Had a very just very traumatic childhood. And I really didn't start to deal with it till I was about 20 years old. And I remember whenever I first started talking about it, some of the older men that I looked up to that had been my friends, had been mentors, the first thing that they said was, "John, stop talking about your trauma because people are gonna think bad about you. They're gonna blame it on you." And I remember, like for the first time, like thinking, like, why is it my fault that somebody did something horrible to me? And I was actually quite angry about that.
Right. So, so then, how did you process through that time, and how did you move forward for yourself?
Yeah, so that led to me really suppressing my feelings and not really wanting to deal with them because it was I felt like I was being judged. I felt like it had been my fault. I felt as if I had to have some responsibility, even though I was only 4 years old whenever it began. So it led to a very dark season of life. I got to a point where I didn't want to live, and I really didn't start addressing it in my life till I was about 30 years old, and I started to see a counselor. And I made a decision. I didn't want to live my life as a victim for the rest of my life, and I had to seek professional help. So that's really where um, I had to I had to let go of the opinions that other people had about my circumstance, and finally learn how to work through everything. And that meant also letting go of my attachments to people that had these beliefs about what had happened to me.
Right, right. So, John, during all that time till you went to the council and everything, did you have any support at all or no?
Very little. I had a few friends. I'm very grateful for the few friends that I had that were willing to listen. That some friends that had experienced similar things, where when I shared with them what had taken place, they didn't make me feel. They didn't say things that triggered feelings that made me feel like it was my fault.
Are
You
you
know,
trying to say you felt safe telling them your story and they accepted?
absolutely, absolutely.
Right, right. So, John, tell me now, when men come to you for counseling or advice and stuff, how do you help them and how do you motivate them? What do you do? What kind of tools do you use?
Yeah. So I have a process that I take men through. It's called BD squared. And what it stands for is be, dream, believe, do. And I use some modalities. Part of them are I utilize choice theory and positive psychology to help people uh, reconnect with their authentic self. There's a lot of people that really have lost connection with who they truly are. So I help people once again identify who they are and begin to live place from their identity instead of from a place of lack. There's a lot of people that will identify themselves as just being, uh, they'll see themselves as everything they're not. They're like, I'm not good in this area. I don't have skills in this area. And they'll see themselves in out of a lens of lack instead of seeing themselves for who they are. So I help people re-encounter who they are. I help them define life as how they want to live it. A lot of people are unable to create a vision of life because they only see life in their current circumstance. And then finally, I help people develop the belief and practices that they need to move forward. A lot of people are unable to move forward because they're holding on to false narratives and beliefs about themselves that are not true, but perhaps other people have told them. They're believing the labels that other people have placed on them. So I help people develop the beliefs they need about themselves, life, and others. And then also I help them to identify the practices, the daily habits they need to have to be able to bridge the gap from where they're at to where they desire to be.
Right, right. And John, I know that you specialize just with men, but I know a lot of women come to you as well, right?
I have equal amounts of clients, of female and male clients.
Okay, okay. So John, have you ever come across a client whom you thought you couldn't help or see them progress or something like that?
Yes, you're asking me if there's someone that I've seen that hasn't been able to progress.
Yes, yes.
So I'm very clear with the type of client that I want to work with.
Okay.
I want to work with clients who really want to change and who are willing to do the work. There's a lot of people that will hire a coach or they'll hire a counselor and they'll want the counselor or the coach to do all the work for them. But
Okay.
so I really set up a conversation with people prior to agreeing to a coaching relationship to make sure that they're ready to do the work. Because I have had people that have no intention on changing. They just want someone to listen to them and their struggles.
Wow.
And
So I've heard this. I've not experienced this, but I've heard this. Like you're saying that you do come across clients who just want to sit and talk and talk and talk about their, just like whatever the victim. I don't want to say that because this sounds harsh, but they
yeah,
just want to talk about their story, and they're not really willing to come out of that bubble, and that's all they want to do is just talk and somebody just listens to them. Is
yeah.
that what you're also saying?
Yes. And no, I really believe what those people need are a
Mm-hmm.
friend.
Right.
You know, a friend can hold that space that will listen to you because I've gone through bad times in my life where I need a friend to talk
Mm,
to, but that's not what I do as a coach. As a coach, um, I help people transform and I help people create the life that they desire to have. Um,
right, right.
it,
So, yeah, sure, sure. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, I would feel really guilty charging somebody just to be their friend. I
Right,
don't
right,
I don't charge my friends money to talk to
right,
me. That's not
right,
what I do.
right, right, right. Uh, so, John, when you say transform, what I'm trying to get is someone who's lost their true identity kind of thing, and you help them find that. Um, what factors play in that, and how does the transformation happen, both for men and women? Is it different or is just the same?
I take both through a similar process. I will tell you that it is more common for me to find females who are able to quickly engage with their emotions than men. I seem to have a change now. I do have some clients that know how to tap into their emotions right away, but it
Yeah.
seems that many women are more ready to face that right away, and so it's just a different response, but it's the same process, and maybe a different level of compassion that I have to extend to men. A lot of people will get impatient with men because men might take a little bit longer to allow themselves the space to feel and to move forward. Where a woman it might be easier to readily engage. But don't get me wrong, sometimes I run into women that never had a safe space to express themselves. So it becomes very difficult for them to
Difficult.
share as well.
Right, right, right. So John, tell me, what do you do when you have clients who come to you and you feel that their esteem is really low, whether it's a
Mhm.
man or a woman, and then how do you help them build that self-esteem and that self-confidence kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, I actually just created a new package specifically for that. One of the things that I help people encounter is self-awareness. Emotional intelligence is made up of four different components. It's self-awareness, self-management, and then social awareness and relationship management. But it all starts with self-awareness. But what I've noticed is that a lot of men that I work with, and some women too, they struggle with self-awareness because they're judging themselves for feeling a certain way. And and so I'm created a new package to help people be able to develop the compassion towards themselves that they need to face themselves and to become self-aware. And and a lot of it is doing a inner work, inner where that person has to re-encounter that child experience of recognizing where they were told or where they started to believe that they don't deserve compassion. And for the majority of people, it stems back from childhood.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. John, on that, I myself have worked on myself as far as self-awareness is concerned. And I'll just quickly tell you something, is that a few years ago, I was in a bad place for whatever reasons. And the only thing, I don't know, it was God's way of sending a message or something, was that I remember that day I went in my room, I closed the door, and I was like really emotional and stuff, and I was crying, and I was sitting on my prayer mat, and I was like, God, all my life I'll listen to people say, uh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I've always gone in self defense mode and saying
Mhm.
where I didn't listen to them. So even though they were right, I chose not to listen because I just went in self mode and I shut myself off. Maybe because I heard that all my life, maybe the way it was said, whatever the reasons were behind that.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? Uh, Not the whole world can be wrong and I can be right. There has to be something wrong with me. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm really going to just see myself. And I picked up one relationship and I said, I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to see that situation where I was blaming a friend, a brother, or whatever, and see what I was doing. And that's where I actually started to see a lot of things that people were telling me were right about me being wrong. It made
Mhm.
me so angry because That was not what I was wanting to know. I didn't want to hear that I was wrong. I didn't want to accept I was wrong. I just wanted somebody to sympathize with the hell I was going through, or why people don't understand me. So it took me like around 2 years to actually, from where I got angry at myself to where it pissed me off that they all were right, to the point where I said, okay, now what do I do next? And of course, through the platform, meeting wonderful people like yourself, um, I realized that I need to accept myself first. I need to accept myself where I have to say, okay, I've made mistakes and it's okay. And I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna be perfect. First, I need to accept myself. And I did that. The minute I told myself I'm gonna do that, it just changed. It just flipped because I started taking ownership that I was wrong and I've made mistakes, how I'm going to change. And I'm not there, and I'm sure I'm going to still stumble on making the same mistake again. But now I feel that I am more self aware about my weaknesses and strengths, where I don't go to self defense mode. You see, when I made this platform, I had nobody in there who I knew. So everybody was a stranger. And that really helped me say what I wanted to say, John. And I wasn't scared of saying it because I was not scared somebody's going to criticize me, somebody's going to just check my English, or somebody's just going to, say whatever. So I just did what I wanted to do. And it's just been like maybe 2, 3 months where actually my family, my friends, and everybody are more connected with me. But I really pushed myself to be who I was, and I still do that. I
Mm.
still want people to see, like I shared a picture today showing that how messy I am, because people, when they follow you, even if there's one person or two people who really look up to you, I feel that in their head they make an image that this person is perfect and their life is perfect. And I wanted to share how messy I am, because that's part of me. I am messy, but I get the job done. That's who I am. So I want my Insta family or my Insta friends to know that, hey, I'm messy. Hey, look, today I had a bad day. So they know, okay, she's as human as we are.
Mhm.
So that's what my journey has been. And I'm still learning. I mean, I'm just at the start uh, of what self awareness can do for a person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you're taking the time. I think one of the biggest struggles, and I love it. You have a friend over here that is
Yes, she's a
commenting. She
yes.
is like your biggest cheerleader. People need more friends like her.
Yeah, she's amazing. Exactly. Yeah.
Um, but I believe a lot of people are super scared to sit with themselves and to really check in with themselves and find out what's really going on inside, because they've never taken the time to do that.
Hmm.
Doing that is actually like meeting a stranger for many people, and like meeting a stranger in a dark alley, you know,
Hmm.
where they're like,
Yes.
who is this person? Is this person going to hurt me? Is this
Hmm.
person going to be, um, uh, cause me harm?
Hmm.
However, if we always think of it as being meeting, someone that we don't know in a dark alley, it's going to be scary. But I
Hmm.
want to challenge people to think of themselves as taking themselves out on a date. When you
Okay.
go out on a date, you're wanting to meet that person, to talk to them, to get to know them, to maybe perhaps take things to another level. You
Hmm.
know, uh,
Right.
and
Hmm.
it's something that you do. It takes time. Relationships don't. They literally don't happen overnight. You might be infatuated, but falling in love is a process.
Hmm.
So learning how to spend time with yourself in order to get to experience yourself and have a good time is a better way to view yourself than having that narrative of, oh my gosh, this is scary. My real self might attack me. Like,
Hmm.
I'm taking myself on a date. Enjoy yourself.
Hmm. Right, right, yes. Because when I see myself 10 years ago, I'm like, I don't know that person. Who the hell was she? So it does make sense. So John, I wanted you more to talk about your website and just kind of share some information for the audience so they know how to connect with you and reach out with you and things like that.
Yeah, by all means. Uh, you can find me at www. Dot John John dash Eli dot com. So it's John Eli John dash Eli.com. And really, what I have available on my website, I break down the process, my BD squared coaching package. I have some freebies if some people want to learn how to create a value aligned life strategy. I have a freebie that will help you create that. I also have another freebie that helps you define how you want to experience life. So you're welcome to tap into that and gain those as free resources that I have available. It also is a blog. Where I'm most active and where you can interact with me is on Instagram. So I always respond to all my DMs and every comment that people send. So feel free to send me a message if this is something that resonates with you. If there's something that you would like to talk about, feel free to reach out to me. That's just the space that I hold for people here.
Right, right, right. Your final message for everybody out there.
Yeah. So what I always share wherever I go is when you know who you are, you'll know what to do. And if for some reason you're in a place in life where you don't know what to do, take some time to get to know yourself, because whenever you know who you are, then you'll know what to do. And that's where it begins.
Right, right. Thank you so much, John, for coming on board, sharing your experience. You shared your story. That's amazing. I learned so much from you today, like always, and I'm sure my audience has also learned from you guys. Check out his page. I will tag him once again after this live and reach out to him. He is amazing. I'm telling you, he's amazing. He is always there. He always will reply to your DM. I can vouch for that. Thank you so much once again, John. You take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.